Hello there, this is Cindy at cindybdesigns.com. Thank you for joining me today for another simple stamping Saturday. This is the card that we'll be making. It's from the March 2019 paper pumpkin kit, and I have one to give you as a giveaway as well. So leave me a comment underneath this video and I'll be sure to send it off to you in the US. You get 2 stamp sets in this month's kit. And again, we're going to be doing a very monochromatic, masculine monotone card. You can do anything with this as far as the colors go, pattern paper designs. It's very easy to do. It's real cute. And here we go. I'll have all the dimensions and everything underneath in the description box of this YouTube video. So I took that strip of paper, it's 1 inch by 5.5 or so, and that comes from the paper pumpkin kit, one of the card backgrounds. And I'm inking up the birthday in Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm laying that down. I already have a strip of tear and tape across the top of it just to prep this card and try and keep the timing of it down. So I double stamped it because I like my images really dark. We're going to be moving in and out of using that foam mat that we have and the Stamparatus. And now I'm grabbing the number stamp set and I'm going to be putting all of them across the bottom up to 7 inked up in smoky slate. And there's going to be a lot of cleaning in between and a lot of frame changes. Because what I do during all this, as you can see, I ink it up real well. This is the first time I use that stamp set, and so the stamps aren't primed or anything like that. And I let it sit there for a moment just to soak it in. That is regular Whisper White cardstock, and it is porous, so it takes just a couple minutes. And again, since these are new stamps, I want to let everything sink in really well. So if you want to rainbow it out, use your Roy G. Biv and go across the bottom of that. And I'm just continuing to take all the numbers all the way across. I'm alternating them back and forth in between left and right a little bit, so they're kind of wonky on there. My numbers don't turn out as well on this card as they did my sample card, because when I'm doing the video, I can't get on top of it real well, and I didn't want a bunch of headshots or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and clean off that 6, get the 7 down, and then I'm going to go ahead and set that panel aside to dry. And I alternate in between the front of the card and the inside of it a lot. This is going to be the inside sentiment. And anytime I'm using the Stamparatus, I always make sure that the image is lined up properly on the door, and I use those lines there. And that is the inside. When I pull it up, you're going to see where I missed over there on the sides. I just inked it up again and gave it a good press, and there we go. But above the E, you can see where I got too much ink in between. I can take that off with a craft knife, and I just scrape it or use the sand eraser, and it'll come right off. So now I have some very dark black ink, and I'm going along the bottom with the confetti image. And if you rotate that 180, it lines up every single time that you put it down. And I did that for the inside and for the envelope along the bottom that coordinates with this card. So I'm going to go ahead and set that panel aside to dry. Pull back in the front panel. I'm going to pull out the tear and tape and line it up. I'm bringing in the Stamparatus accessories. That's one of the sheets there. And I'm going to fudge and struggle with this a little bit, because again, I can't be right on top of it. And I use our clear blocks a lot to set things up, to hold things down, to keep things straight. If I don't have temporary adhesive, which I normally use, but this time I didn't. So I'm bringing back in the Stamparatus. I need to get the happy above that, make sure everything's lined up, And again, I'm going to get that inked up in, I alternate in between Versamark and Memento Tuxedo Black. They're not the same as far as properties go, but that's for a different video because we don't carry Versamark. So I'm kind of cheating here a little bit, but I just need to ink up my Memento Tuxedo Black pad. So I have the balloon image and I'm pulling back in the foam mat and the balloon punch. We're using the smaller one. When you put your images down on paper, you want to watch your punch so you know how to lay your image down and how it's going to be inserted into the punch to not waste paper and, well, to get a good punch. That's all I can say. So we did an old technique here, the rock and roll. You saw me ink up the image and I just rolled the edges in the Memento Tuxedo Black, and that is what we have. It's a nice little highlight around there. So I'm putting this up in the balloon punch. I'm making sure I have no white around the edges because it is a tight cut or a tight punch. I pulled in, that looks like the inside image panel. It is. Just putting some adhesive on that and then getting it laid down top to bottom, left to right. I turn it over and pat it down, so to speak, so I don't get any ink smudges, because I do that all the time if I run my hand over an ink panel. So I already had tear and tape on the back, and I just pulled it up a little bit and creased it so I could get the white and silver twine just for a little bit of bling in there. Wrapped around twice, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to size everything up, put the tape back over to hold that all in so I can go ahead and get my balloons down. So on one of them, I'm just putting some snail. I'm going to mess with this for a minute just to make sure that I have everything lined up the way that I want it to be lined up. And again, this is a masculine card that I'm showing you, but there's so much you can do with this. You can swap around the happy birthday. You could change the side of the balloons. You can bring in other elements. Just use your imagination. So now I'm getting the twine tied around that little teeny tiny balloon end on the bottom. And I edited out where I struggled with it. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. So now I have that there, and I'm going to loop it around over on the left and then tie it into a knot at the bottom around those strings. I already had a glue dot on the back of my pokey tool. I had it really pulleyed up so it wouldn't show through. And now just comes with, you know, the arranging part where you fuss with it for 5 minutes to get it exactly how you want. That's what I'm doing. And I'm getting the knot tied at the bottom. And I remember that glue dot not working out so well because I wanted more of a flowy type of look to the twine. So this time around, I just go ahead and grab some Tombow Mono. That's our liquid adhesive that we carry. Put a little bit on the cardstock, get it exactly how I want it, pull back in an acrylic block, set it up, and I'm going to let it dry. After it's dried, I'm happy. I'm going to pull off the tear and tape, and I'm going to get that adhered to the front of the panel. So before that is done, I want to thank you for stopping by to visit me today. I have a Paper Pumpkin March 2019 giveaway for you. If you live in the US, just leave me a comment underneath this YouTube video and I will get that out to you. I'll announce the winner next Saturday. Please hit like, subscribe, and thank you for spending a couple minutes with me today. Have a great weekend. God bless, and I will see you next week.